Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'll be talking about Heaven Burns Red and the Angel Beasts collab that we're currently having in Heaven Burns Red Global. I'm going to be talking about that and a few things that I wanted to share with everyone. Now, I initially didn't have any plans on making any videos related to this collab event, because I had no plans on getting the characters or like any of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to make a video later on when chapter 5 comes out. But after playing the event story, I was like, yes, I have to make a video because god damn, that was good. Like, to be honest, I genuinely didn't have much expectations from a collab story because by collab stories, I've just gotten accustomed to absolute trashy collab stories from a lot of other gacha games that I've played. A lot of good gacha games that I've played that have good story themselves. Collab story is where it always falls off. Like the characters are always good. Obviously, it's really nice to have like characters from an anime slash manga that you love, but every single gacha game I've played, without any exception, collab story sucks. You know, like, yeah, it's nice to see the characters, but that's it. There's no substantial story, nothing like much interesting about any of a lot of the other games collab stories that I've played. Now there might be exceptions because, like I said, I haven't played every single gacha game in existence. So there might be a few gacha games that have a really good collab story, but a few of them that I have played, it wasn't it. Like, yeah, for example, I remember Honkai Impact had an Evangelion collab, Nika had an Evangelion collab. All those collab stories I've played, it was kind of meh, the story. um so I was also expecting something like this from you know from Heaven Burns Red Angel Beasts Collab Story. I thought it was just going to be like like a normal happy fun story where just everyone will be like just playing around, just meeting the cast from Angel Beats and just like pure fun type of story, which is usually what a lot of collab stories have in common from other gacha games. And oh boy, the story that this collab event has brought is something. I don't know. I really love the story. Like, and by love, I would say this story, this collab story, probably can hold its candle with a lot of other main Heaven Burns Red main story as well. There's like just how good the main stories are. The collab story is as good as that, I would say, especially the ending. Like I remember, like the first 2 days that I was playing from of the collab story was pretty normal, and then the third day I started, and when a certain sections comes, the ending section of the story comes, yeah, that section blew my mind. Now I'm trying to avoid it saying much stuff here because I want to give a spoiler alert here. So spoiler alert, from here onwards I might be talking about stuff that are considered spoilers in the the collab story. There's a few things that happens that I'll talk about now. So if you still haven't played the collab story and you want to play it and experience it firsthand, be sure to play that and before watching this video or before moving past this section of the video, because now I'll be talking about a few things in the collab story that I consider really good and I want to like talk in a detailed manner about it. So yeah, spoiler alert for the collab story. Okay, now I can talk freely about it. So, like, okay, before I talk about the collab story, like I said, I haven't really I haven't really pulled for Kanade. I think UDP is given for free. Like you have to like log in for 10 days and they give you like a ticket. And I think like using the ticket you can get UDP for free as far as I know. And obviously EDM Yuki is also an S rank character and she's also for free. The only character that you would want, I think, is to get is Kanade, and I actually want a few characters later on in the game. So I'm currently saving. I have no plans on getting Kanade, even if she's a collab character. So yeah, that's the thing. And the game itself is like giving you like how many like free pulls every single day, 10 free pulls. 2 days have already gone, and in the first day I already got an SS character. I was very lucky. I think I got uh, Ichiko. I think, yeah, Ichiko. I got Ichiko, right? That was her name, right? The eldest Oshima sister. I think I got her. So there's a lot of other, like, like upcoming days where we're going to get a lot of free pulls. So hopefully I can snag another one, like another, like, one or two SS character. Hopefully, if my luck is good. But yeah, so yeah, that's how the collab, like the collab is going, and it's going well. And now, obviously, before you can attempt the like event stages, you have to complete the event story. So I quickly, did the event story, and I completed the event story today. And like I said, I barely had an expectation from the event story. Like, I genuinely, like, I knew that obviously this is Jun Maeda's story, so I was like, yeah, it must be good. But I genuinely had, like, I thought it was going to be average, but oh boy, it really surpassed my expectations. So let's talk about the event story, the collab story. Obviously, we have these three characters, Yuripe, Kanade, and Miyuki Irie. These three come to this world, or we got transported, I think, to their world, and we fought like a little bit in the first day, and then we took them back to our world, and like they like got one full day to just tour the base, like do fun stuff, have a concert. All those fun things were happening, and in little, small little portions, they were hinting and dropping like Miyuki Irie's story about, like what happened before she died and all that. It wasn't really that significant, but it starts going, like, in that direction completely in on the third day. On the third day, there was a section where we had like a big fight against a few of the cancers. We fought them, and then at the end, Miyuki starts telling her story, and that is where things start taking a turn. Now, I absolutely loved the story. Like, I think obviously Miyuki is a character from Angel Beasts. She's the drummer. I don't think she had a significant story in either the anime or the visual novel, as far as I can remember. So they added her story in Heaven Burns Red, which is kind of interesting because, if you want to get to know her story and like experience it for yourself, I guess you have to play this game. Because I'm not sure if her story is in any other like media, like, like I said, the only two media that I know from Angel Beats are the anime and the visual novel. And the visual novel stopped at like the first beat. I don't think second beat has come out, right? I think they were also making fun. That was kind of funny. They also made fun of that in the game itself, where there was a section in the, like, the first section of the story where they had to do improv, and one of the jokes was them joking about the fact that Angel Beats visual novel never got a second beat or something like that. That was hilarious. But, as far as I can remember, I don't think she had any story over there. So this is where her story, like, we get to know her story. And I don't know. It's like it's one of the best stories like, like a lot of the characters in Angel Beats have really, like, crazy stories and really good stories. I feel like Miyuki's story is like one of the best of them. I genuinely wasn't expecting it to be this good. Like, seriously. So, the one part that really, like, what can I say, like, like really surprised me about Miyuki's story is that obviously she didn't have much to do with the story because she died, you know but it was crazy to see how that death can affect people. And even if there's people who weren't really good friends with you, the fact that they got involved with her death in itself, how it changes people and how it completely broke apart, like, three characters. And in the end, obviously, Shinnosuke, I think that was her name, he was the one who brought everyone back together. It was crazy to see how Miki was just stuck there, because you can understand she couldn't pass on because she had a regret. Her regret was that her death is going to make the people who are connected with her, their life miserable. And that is why that lingering regret made her, I guess, made her soul get stuck in the mortal realm, and she couldn't move on from that. And it was just so heartbreaking to see her just stuck there. Obviously, she's a spirit at that point. She's just seeing her friends just falling apart little by little, every single moment going in a wrong direction, and everything is happening because of, as she says, because of my fault. And it's like a never-ending cycle. Like, she wants them to find their way and move on from her death, but they are not able to do that. And that is making her even more concerned and making her even more regretful, which is even keeping her stuck, in the mortal realm, and she can pass on, peacefully. So that was crazy to see. That's actually, the story went really, I don't know, it at first it became very dark, and then it had like a ray of sunshine at the end. Now the most interesting part of the story is the way I would say Shinnosuke's whole thing. Now at the beginning, when like in front of their graves, all her friends were wait there, the only person who was like, oh, this is not our fault, was Shinosuke. That is the time when the other three of them were like, oh, how could you, like, how can you be so heartless, how could you be so petty, and they were like telling him stuff, and they were like, yeah, you're very cruel, you're very selfish, how could you say that, and they were like all, and in a, like, to be honest, I felt the same way. I was like, okay, that's kind of mean, right? Yeah, obviously you guys weren't really friends, but you're saying that it's not, like, yeah, it wasn't your fault. Obviously, it definitely wasn't any of their fault. They just did a prank and it went horribly, and yeah, it was, nobody was really at fault there. But still, to say something like that in front of a grave, even I was like, oh, that's a bit selfish, right? You know, and by the end, I was flabbergasted to realize how wrong I was and how wrong everyone was. Because at the end, I realized Shinosuke was right, because he didn't want to take any responsibility, because he knew if he blames himself, he cannot move on, and his oh, what can you say, his feelings are going to twist and become something that down the line is going to curse Miyuki and her death. That is literally what happened, because the other three friends couldn't move on, and they were like, oh, it's our fault. They kept blaming themselves, and at the end, when things weren't going well, that blame turned and twisted, and their feelings for Miyuki, which was of regret, turned into something more dark, and they started blaming Miyuki and her death. And that is when I realized that Shinosuke probably understood at that moment that if he lets, if he puts the blame on himself, down the line he will blame Miyuki for all of this. And he didn't want that happening. That's why he decided to, like, move past that, and he decided to do something significant that will help, in the long run. And as you can see, at the end, because of him doing so many good things in the student council and everything, he was able to save each and every one of his friends. Not only that, he was able to, that whole place with the cosmos and everything, and they could meet, and it all came together. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. Because I don't know, usually I can understand, and I can kind of understand the direction where the story is going. I genuinely did think at that moment that, wow, he's saying stuff like this, that's a bit selfish. But it struck me later at the end that no, he was correct. He was doing what Miyuki wanted everyone to do: move past it, move on. Do not center their lives around a dead person. That person is dead. Do not stop in your own law, walking in your own life because someone who has passed away. Your life will go on. You're a human being. Yeah, obviously think about the person, you can shed tears and think about that person, all those things you can do, but do not let your own life stagnate because of someone who is not even in this world. Down the line, when you realize that I've not accomplished anything, you'll probably blame that person. You'll blame the dead person, and that is even worse. Than that is even worse. And that is literally what happened, and Shinosuke was able to stop it. Like I said, I really love this story because it had such a great moral, I guess you could say, at the end. And yeah, and you could say that, yeah, Shinosuke moved past that, but at the end you can see that even though Shinosuke was able to move past that, event, up until the end, he was also the person who was never able to move past Miyuki's death, because for 30 years I think he kept, like, his lingering feelings for Miyuki was there, and that stopped him from moving forward in his own life. He never got married up until that point, but in the end, as you can see, he was like, yes, I will move forward. And I did for a moment think that, okay, why has Miyuki still not passed on? But then I realized the reason why Miyuki still hasn't passed on is because Shinnosuke hasn't passed on. Not only Shinnosuke, if any of her friends not passed on, sorry, didn't move forward, sorry, Shinnosuke's still alive. Why did I say passed on? The reason why Miyuki hasn't passed on is because Shinnosuke still wasn't able to move forward in her life. And it didn't matter even if it wasn't Shinnosuke. Even if one of her friends were still there, not able to move forward in their life, just stagnated, Miyuki would not be able to pass on. Her regrets for her friends would keep her stagnated over there, because she's a spirit. Unless and until they get internal, like internal relief, and everything, yeah, like that, the lingering regrets goes away, they'll be stuck here. And the reason why she was still there up until the very end is because Shinnosuke wasn't able to move forward. And then when Shinnosuke said that, you know what, finally I will move forward now, I will move forward from my feelings for you, because human beings are not supposed to stagnate. We're not supposed to stop. We're supposed to keep moving forward. So this will be the end. I will get married after this. As soon as I leave this place, I'll get married. I'll get married to the person who I've been staying with for 10 years. Everyone's been telling me to settle down, but I couldn't. So now I will move forward. So when she heard that, when she realized that, yeah, he's really moving forward, Miyuki was also able to pass on, because that is when her lingering regrets ended. All of her friends were able to live and move on with their life, and they're not here standing in front of her grave. So that was a beautiful story. Like, I have to say, like, a lot of the things were nearly not really explicitly said, like, oh, this is how it went. You have to understand it. Like I said, a lot of the things weren't really directly, just expressed, but it was like this event story was so beautiful. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. This is, like, this is what I love. This is what I love about Jun Maida's story. It is just, some of the stories are just so damn good. So yeah, this is definitely one of my best, like, and that's why I decided to make a make a video on it. I had no plans on making any video on this, on the collab event, but as soon as I completed the story, I was like, yep, I have to make a video, you know. And yeah, there you go. So that was brilliant. That was brilliant. Like, yeah, especially that ending part. So yeah, there you go. Like, I love this collab story. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and this is how you should do collab stories, not all those, like, god damn it, so many gacha games do collab stories are just so lazy, and like has literally nothing, and just the characters just there. Like, this is how you do it. I'll never forget this story. This collab story, I'll never forget it. It's so damn good. So yeah, there you go. That is it. I just want to share this with everyone. So yeah, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll make another video later when chapter 5 comes out, and I'll play it on my own, and I'll probably make another video talking about my experience, what I experienced in chapter 5. So yeah, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section how you liked the collab story, if you have already, experienced it, and or anything else you want to share about Heaven Burns Red. Let me know in the comments. I'll check them out. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.